Now we come to the three different types of people who heard him. The three categories of people who heard him. Who are these three categories? I'm just explaining these three categories and then we'll come back to the illustration. There are three categories of people who initiate and propagate the tipping point process. Three categories of people who initiate and propagate the epidemic. Who are they? They are known as the connectors, the Mavens, and the Salesmen. Who are the connectors? Connectors are those people who are natural networkers. We find them in society. People who simply love people. They just go and talk to people. They like to make connections. Rishta banana. A will go and connect B, B to C. Some people have got this natural ability. So whatever be the thing, unconnected people are connected by connectors. People who do not have any connection, connectors will bring people together. They have this beautiful quality of bringing people together. The context is not important, but they have this richness of getting people together. They are networking people. They make the connections and spread the word. They simply make the connections. Social skill is their core competence. They've got a very good core competence in the form of a social skill. Amazing social skill. They network. And they try to keep society together in spite of the differences. They have this skill. In society, we have different types of people. Now, how to keep them together is something which a connector knows how to do. He connects very well. They are very comfortable dealing with a varied section of people. Different types of people they can deal with. They have the innate skill of connecting to people even if they are not armed with any information for action. What do we normally do? We go and meet people or we try to connect to someone with a purpose. Isn't it? This is not what we are talking about. These people, even without a so-called purpose, will connect to people. It may be irritating to people who think that you should connect only with purpose. But this is a innate quality. It's built into these people. It's a part of them. And they connect. So these are what connectors are made of. They have got these characteristics in them. So some of the people who listened to Gandhiji were connectors. Okay? Next comes the Mavens. The Mavens are people who are good at communicating. Connectors connect. They may communicate, but connecting is more important. For example, somebody asked me, I want to meet a good trainer or I want to meet some good professor who teaches so-and-so subject. So I could simply give a connection to that person and say, I've done it. That's all. I just connect. I may not communicate to the professor or this particular trainer. Okay? So Mavens are slightly different. Mavens are the people who are good at communicating. There are people who read. There are people who read. They are into research. They want to know more information about this new idea. This incident took place in South Africa. So the Mavens who heard Mahatma Gandhi must have gone into the depth of it. Hey, why has this happened? What's the purpose behind it? What exactly is this happening for? They gave it a thought. What made them give the thought? An emotion behind it. What was the emotion? The bitterness that this has happened to someone. So unless an emotion is there, you can't be a connector, a Maven or a salesman. So what do? Who are Mavens? They are and make things clearer. However difficult the concept may be, they willingly share information because they want to help. They're willing to share information. For them, information gives a kick. They read a lot, intellectual people, and they communicate a lot. And in communicating, they communicate well. And they do it because that's their passion. The connector has a passion of socially connecting people. The Maven has a passion of reading, assimilating, researching, and then giving the information out. He does it willingly. Information sharing is their core skill. They like to share information. They simply like to share information. Okay? Next comes the salesmen. The salesmen are good at convincing and handling objections towards acceptance. They'll go and tell people that look, this is it, this is not it. And they will convince people that what they are saying is right and it needs to be understood and bought by them. Some of the people who heard Gandhiji, they were salesmen. And they were convinced and they said, we are not only convinced, we will also convince others. And they actually did it. The ones who actually spread the non-cooperation movement, the Satyagraha movement. They are persuasive and don't give up. Very hard. They say nothing doing, we will do it. Hum honge kamyab, and they went on doing it. And they never gave up. Because they believe that what they are having as convictions is something which can actually happen. So they go and sell the convictions to people. They have the skills of socially connecting and changing consumer habits. Talking in terms of marketing, salesmen, as we know, are the ones who influence others to change their thought process of consuming some product into something which they want to sell. Isn't it? So, salesman here is given in a very broader category of ideas, of influencing people into actions. So, these three categories of people are the ones who are the starting point of this epidemic. Let's go back to the illustration. In the example of Mahatma Gandhi, when he started the Satyagraha movement, there were connectors, mavens and salesmen who joined in as a natural process. Each one of us have got our own way of looking at life. While you're listening to me, you may be a maven. You may want to know more about tipping point, and you'll start reading about tipping point and then talking about it to other people because it must have impressed you. For a tipping point to happen, there should be emotion, extreme emotion. It should be an emotion of joy, euphoria on one hand. On the other hand, it should be a joy of negative, disgust, bitterness, like what's happened in the Satyagraha movement. Okay, so the connector would connect because that emotion has struck a chord in him. The mavens will do the same thing. The salesmen also will do the same thing. All these people came together. The connectors brought people together. The connectors brought the people together. The various people who listened to Mahatma Gandhi, they said, no, let's get people, let's mobilize human resources. The mavens studied and shared information on Gandhiji's vision. They sat down, the intellectuals of that time. They sat down and they studied. They said, yes, what he's saying is true. This movement is possible. It appears to be impossible, but we can do it. Because they went into the depth of it. And that vision they started propagating. One of them is Pandit Nehru. Okay, while these salesmen influence people to understand, accept and go with the vision, the salesmen were the people who actually went down to the brass tacks. They met people and they said, look, this is it, this vision is fantastic, we need to do it and take it. And he convinced them why they should join the Satyagraha movement. Not in big numbers, in small numbers they went. See, the point to be noted is in tipping point, we are talking about small numbers to begin with. Not big, it's a law of few. So this law of few led to this particular movement. And slowly, throughout this nation, we had small people who were mobilizing themselves. These were not many in number, following the law of the few. A few people are enough to create and propagate new ideas into action towards a goal. People who are into marketing, we always feel, that it's all about, spreading the message to maximum number of people through maximum channels. Not always true. All the experienced, astute, the very wise marketing people will understand that to spread a word about some product or a service which is new, all you need to do is to press the right buttons as you say. This pressing the right buttons is nothing but the tipping point. Connecting the mavens, connecting with the connectors and connecting with the salesmen. Moment these people are understood, the whole thing spreads like wildfire. Take any product that is launched in the market and which takes up a lot of momentum. We can take this tipping point phenomenon or the process into consideration.